Hello, welcome to This Is Everything, episode number 6 with my guest Camille Dupree. Thank you everybody for listening so far. It's been a lot of fun. It seems like you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully you're still listening, and thank you so much. It's been a cool experience, so I'm excited to keep these coming out to you, have you guys listening to them, and just see where it takes us. So if you're listening on iTunes, please go ahead and leave a review. That'd be awesome. It helps a lot. You can just go to the podcast page and leave a couple stars, hopefully 5 if you like that much. I hope you do. And also, just take a quick second to either leave a review in the form of a comment, either just a sentence or a word or whatever you want to do. It'll help a lot. So, and as always, if you want to follow everything we have coming out with State Lines, we have a bunch of good stuff, different podcasts in addition to this one, articles, all that kind of good stuff. So you can follow State Lines. It's state-lines.com. Facebook is facebook.com/statelines. Twitter is @tweetstatelines. Instagram is @statelines. And Tumblr is officialstatelines.tumblr.com. And follow me on Twitter. It's @Daniel_Cura. And if you want to follow Camille, my guest today, it's @Camille Dupree. And so Camille is a really, really cool person. She's actually my sister-in-law. And she's in a band called Camille Dupree and Broken Fetters. And we kind of sit down and just talk about everything. And my dog just shook, so you heard his collar. Anyway, we talk about everything. We go all over the place, from her growing up playing music, the band, their tours, and couch surfing, and playing around the Tampa area in addition to touring. And we go into trading embarrassing childhood stories, which was a fun little tangent we went on. So we're all over the place. Hope you enjoy it. Check out her band Camille Dupree and Broken Fetters. Their website is CamilleDupreeBrokenFetters.com. And check them out on iTunes. Pick up some of their stuff. They're good. I like them. I'm partial, but I still say they're good. Do it, because it's a cool thing to do. So, alright guys, enough talking. Here it is, episode number 6. This is Everything, with guest and very cool person I like talking to, Camille Dupree.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special treat for you today. We have the one, the only.
Welcome to the State Lines Network.
Were you just sitting outside?
No, I just got Hi.
You can sit down. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Good?
Good.
I thought you were just sitting outside.
No. But it is gonna rain, and so I was like, I don't want to get stuck.
As usual.
Yeah.
It's
Florida.
Yeah, but whatever. So, what's new?
Not much. Monday. I woke up this morning and I was like, are we here already again?
Yeah.
Is it Monday?
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah, it's what it is. So I just don't like asking people stuff. So what's new? It's just, I feel like it's so forced when I sit down and
Yeah.
hey, so tell me about what you got going on.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, one of the things that I thought was really funny that I listened to Brent's podcast.
Uh-huh.
And no, not Brent. Well, I did listen to Brent's, but it wasn't in Brent's. It was in Reed's. I listened to Reed's podcast, and I was cracking up at the part when you guys were talking about Spotify, because I was so anti-Spotify.
Yeah.
When people started using it, and Wes kept trying to convince me that it was cool, and I was like, no, I want to buy the music that I like.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pay to use Spotify. Well, then at my job, we use Spotify for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I started using Spotify, and when Reed was talking about how he feels like that's the only way that he hears new music that he hasn't heard is from Spotify, that's my life. Every week I'm like, ooh, I like this cool new band. How'd you hear them, Camille? On Spotify.
Yeah, I have I mean, it's good, but I feel like it's really easy for me. It makes me really lazy as far as buying new stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. But at the same time though, I'm one of those music listeners who I feel bad when I say oh yeah, I really like that band, because usually I just like one specific album.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that Spotify helps you not do that, because if you find a new artist, it shows you everything they do.
Oh yeah, okay,
like
I gotcha.
all put together.
Yeah.
Like here's every album they've ever put out ever.
Yeah, I mean it's just my personal thing because I get really lazy, but it's really good. But then I'm always just like even just bands that I really like, I'll listen to a new album like on Spotify, and then like a couple months later, just realize like I never bought it.
Sure.
But
I'm a huge like music buyer.
Yeah,
like, that's how I feel like I can support bands, so I purchase the music.
Yeah, I always do. So what I've been doing for the most part is like, if I'm listening on Spotify, I'll just wait till they come to town and then just buy their album when they at a show.
That's smart.
Plus, they get more money at a show. Well, kind of. It's weird.
I know. I've been to a couple shows recently where like I didn't buy the CD from the show because there were too many people in line and just like stuff like that, and then I like feel guilty afterwards because like I know what it's like to have music on iTunes and people buy it and you don't actually get any money from it.
Yeah.
Like you don't get a lot.
Well, I heard an interview, can't remember who it was with, but they're kind of talking about like Spotify or just like essentially the choice between like just downloading music or using Spotify, and they said if you're gonna do either, do Spotify, because I mean they make like half a cent on every play or something. But even regardless, like what they were saying was just the making money aside, if you're gonna get it for free or whatever from the internet, do Spotify, because at least they can track where people are listening to their music, and then they can build their tours around like where they have fans.
I didn't know that was a thing.
So apparently, I mean, I don't know anything about the back end of it, but
sure,
apparently you can do that.
That would be really cool though, if that actually was the truth.
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully it is.
Let's write a letter to Spotify.
Please tell me that you know where people are when they're listening to music.
Yeah, but
cool.
So, I mean, you mentioned you're on iTunes, so we should mention that you're in a band, or you have a band.
I have a band. I am in the band.
Yeah.
Sure.
You own a band.
I own a band. Yeah, I know. We actually had a band meeting the other day because people keep asking us. They're like, "Are you guys actually a band anymore?" And we are definitely a band still, but we have been playing a lot of private events like weddings or just like stuff like that we can't really invite you to. I mean, you could totally crash a wedding. That would be cool. But yeah, so we are playing. We had a band meeting. We talked about like there's a little bit of difference in our like pursuits on playing gigs and different stuff like that.
Like individually?
Yeah.
I gotcha.
But we're all on the same page that like we ultimately like we think it would be cool to be playing like one show a week.
Gotcha.
Just kind of get ourselves busy again. The problem is like we got so burnt out with the like scene that we were in Tampa that we couldn't keep playing at the same places.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, I can only speak for Tampa because that's where I live. But yeah, you run the risk of a lot of repeat. Yeah. Even like, I mean, there's so many bands, but you still kind of run the risk of just like playing with the same people so often.
Well, and the same people come to your shows. And then they don't come anymore because they saw you play 3 times last week. Yeah. You know, it's like, even like your best friends, like your huge supporters are like, they'll come a lot for the first little bit and then...
There's a weird divide between playing often enough to keep like the upward climb of support, but then scarcely enough where people will still come out. Because at some point, like, I mean, this isn't you, but like I know some like local bands who are really cool with just like staying local bands and they'll play constantly, but then you run the risk of people not coming out because the mentality is like, oh, I can just see them like next Friday.
And that's where that's kind of where we were getting.
Yeah.
When we like had some transitions and we stopped playing as much, it was like people weren't coming because they knew they could just see us somewhere else if they couldn't make that one. Yeah. So you have to keep people like, I don't want to say interested. Interest is not the right word. Yeah. But you have to keep them convinced that coming to that specific show is worth it.
Yeah, I mean, and people have so much stuff going. Like, I'm guilty of it, even just like not local bands. Like, bands I like coming through, like, on tour.
Oh, yeah. I'm the worst.
Like, having the full intent... Like, I mean, I've done it before. I try not to, but full intentions of going to a show, like, on a Tuesday, and then get out of work, and then
like,
not.
I'm gonna go home and do some laundry.
Like, go home and eat, and then just, like, not want to get off the couch. And it's tough, because so many people have stuff going on, but, like... So, yeah, it's important to find that balance.
Yeah. I feel like I've met some new musicians in the last, like, year who play at places that we've never played at before. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be pursuing those places.
Okay.
So yeah, we're really trying to kind of get into a new scene, and it's still Tampa, but it's just all the places that we haven't played, or like the places that are new that have opened in the last couple years. Yeah. There's a lot of like restaurants and just different kinds of places like that we haven't played in because they didn't exist.
True.
So that's something that we're looking into.
Yeah. Tampa's missing because, I mean, the Orpheum's a good club, but I feel like we're missing the size of the old Orpheum, like the small, like 500-ish people room.
Yeah, there's really not a place.
Yeah, it's a weird... I think the closest would probably be Crowbar, but even still, that's kind of big-ish.
Yeah.
Like, the old Orpheum used to be just, like, really tiny...
Right.
Bar next to the stage.
Yeah, it was super small.
Yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with Crowbar. I won't say anything bad about Crowbar, but I like going there.
Yeah. I've seen a couple good shows, but...
Yeah, me too. I got to see Tall Heart there. And the Camille Dupree played with her group.
Oh, yeah.
And I freaked out because I didn't really realize that she was one of the sisters of all the girls who were in Isley.
Yeah.
And that's like my diehard middle school Camille favorite band ever.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool show to see at the Crowbar.
Yeah. I mean, and just local places in general are just hit or miss. Like, for example, like just depending on who's running it that night.
Yeah.
Like, we went to a show the other night at the local in St. Pete, and it's usually awesome, but then that night the sound guy was just not being a sound guy. Like, it was just awful. Like, the show was good, but like it was just it adds like a weird vibe to the show.
That's one of our favorite things about the Orpheum is we've had such good experiences with the sound there that like we know every time we go there they like know what we want and know what we need.
Well, you guys have a lot of special sound stuff.
We have a lot of requirements. As a band. We don't just have amps.
Yeah, a lot of mix and matching instruments and stuff. So
we're kind of messy up there sometimes, but it works out.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So that just kind of put in my brain because every time, for some reason, I guess we should preface this by saying that you're my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Because I was going to be like, every time I talk to your mom, which like, would have sounded really strange.
You talk to my mom all the time. What? Who are you?
Like, a lot of times when we're like talking just like music stuff, she's always like, oh, Camille grew up on the stage, blah, blah, blah. So,
yeah, that is...
How weird is that?
Yeah.
Or not weird because you did it.
Sure. It's always interesting hearing my mom say that because I know that if I met somebody who was prefaced with, they grew up on the stage, like a lot of things would come to mind.
Yeah.
And not necessarily like one's like heavy positively or heavy negative. Like, I don't know. Like you said, because I grew up doing it, it doesn't really seem weird. But I have come across the fact of like being 21 and doing as much as I've done, and like even just like having the job that I have, I get to play music, and like it's just weird. People are like, wow, you've really like, that's so cool that you got to do that at such a young age. And it's really because my mom threw me up on stage when I was like 6 years old. Yeah. Because she would lose me in the crowd at church. She would tell me to sit here, and she would get on the stage and start the service, and then she would look and I was not there anymore. Okay. And so she was like, no. So she put me on the stage, and I've been up there ever since.
So it started as like church babysitting?
Yes. I would get in trouble. Oh, so I sat, actually, this is so funny, and I can't even believe I'm about to say it because I'm so embarrassed by it still.
Do it.
My mom, with that, putting me up on the stage, I sat in the corner, and we got this weird, like, it's like a percussion instrument kit.
Okay.
So it had, like a low table level and then, like, 2 fold-out levels on each side. And then, like, the rods that, like, drum sets have that you can, like, put things on, you know? Mm-hmm. And I had, like, shakers and wood blocks and, like, a cowbell. And I sat there for years every Sunday morning playing those little, like, rinky-dink percussion instruments.
That's
and great. I thought it was super cool until I realized it wasn't. And I was really embarrassed by it. So she started letting me sing some more. And then it was like, oh, Camille could play guitar. And so then I got to move up in the world. But
if it makes you feel any better, I played bongos in my church band. And I wasn't a kid. I was like 17.
No! Is that when you wore puka shells?
No.
Oh.
I refuse to admit that ever happened. Maybe in like elementary school.
I feel like it happened to 17-year-old Daniel for sure.
Yeah, so at least you outgrew that.
Yeah,
I was able to make my own choices at that point. I'm like, I'll do the bongos because I'm a cool, edgy kid with really poofy hair.
And puka shells. Don't forget the puka shells. That's so funny. Yeah, I feel like at the time I thought it was really cool. I'm pretty sure I did. And then when I started doing something else that was actually cool, like playing guitar, I was like, ugh, let's not ever talk about the time that I used to play little percussion instruments.
I feel like when I started guitar, I might have been like in middle school, but I feel like I was on the edge of, or maybe like everybody that was my age had the same idea at the same time. Because it was like, in my head, I'm like, oh, playing guitar would be awesome. And then like, within that span of that year, like everybody I talked to was like, oh yeah, I do that.
I play guitar too, man. That's cool.
And,
I'm original.
I'm unique.
My mom says I'm special.
Yeah, so when did you start guitar?
I started taking guitar when I was, actually, I was going to say 6, but that's not true. I started taking violin when I was 6, but I started doing guitar probably in, like, late elementary school.
Okay.
Middle school. We had a guy at our church who played guitar in the worship band that my mom led. And he kind of just started teaching me stuff. And then I played, like, very exclusively in the youth band for years. And then I started playing. I'm going to do this, and no one can see me because it's a podcast.
Quotes.
Yes, finger quotes. I started playing in real church with my mom, and so I guess I would probably say, like, late elementary school. Because by the time I was in middle school, at youth group, I was playing in the band.
Gotcha.
So, probably around there.
Yeah.
I kind of had no choice. Like, I was going to be a musician.
Well, yeah, because that's just your household.
Yeah, it's the family.
Yeah.
So, and, like, Noelle played a lot. My sister, your wife, for those of you listening.
Oh.
Crazy thunder.
Yeah, so for those listening, if you heard that, it's about to storm, and it's starting to thunder. So.
Open up this bed.
And my dog, Max, is freaking
He's
out.
so scared, Maxie. So she was playing, and she had a really cool guitar. I think that her getting into it when I was young was a big part in me.
Noelle?
Like, yeah. Was a big part of me wanting to play guitar and know how to do that. Because I kind of dropped everything else. Like, I did violin, and I did piano, and then I couldn't have the same violin teacher, and so then I just picked up guitar. And that, out of those 3 instruments, guitar definitely came just, like, the most naturally to me. Like, I feel like I had a few lessons, and then I just kind of did it myself.
Yeah. I was... I feel like I say if I was self-taught on guitar, that would sound kind of cocky.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I try not to say that, but that ultimately is what it is.
Well, yeah, kind of like, in general, I'm, like, it's just a trait I've always had where I just kind of I don't lose interest in stuff. I just kind of stop stuff, like, before I should. So, like, I started playing guitar, and then my uncle plays guitar, so the whole plan was like, oh, we'll buy Daniel a guitar, and then he can go take lessons with his uncle. And I think I did, like, maybe 2. I did, like, 1. And then, like, my friend, one of my best friends growing up, he's still a really good friend of mine, Chad, lived next door to my grandparents, and he played guitar for a little while, so he and I would just he actually kind of taught me more, but we were just kind of sound terrible together. But yeah, so like the lessons I really don't know. It might have been one.
Single lesson.
Like it was just the
life-changing lesson I had.
Like as like maybe what I was like 13 or 14. Like
sure.
In my head, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play guitar, and it'll be super cool.
Your commitment level is minimum.
But then like just like starting anything, my uncle was like, okay, you gotta hold it like this, and just like all the proper technique. I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah, all of the stuff that sucks. I feel like, so along with playing guitar, I teach guitar.
Yeah.
And I feel like my first lesson with my students, they're just like, no, I want to quit already.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is the name of this part of the guitar.
Yeah.
And you have to memorize the names of the strings. I'm just like giving them all this stuff that's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and that part, like, because I talked about this with Jason in the last episode. Like, so I played saxophone in the band, so I like could read music and like all that kind of stuff. I just never learned how to read guitar. Like I would do like tabs and cheat.
Yeah.
And, like,
well,
and then eventually learn by ear, kind of. But
right.
I still can't read guitar music.
Only like I feel like people don't really compliment me on guitar playing. Like they're not like, oh man, you are such a good rhythm guitar player. Like that doesn't happen. But like clearly I'm good enough to like lead worship every Sunday playing rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
So, but in my head, like that's it. Like I'm just good enough. And teaching lessons has really changed my like whole world with guitar.
Yeah.
Because I started teaching theory to some of my students, and I was teaching like I was learning.
like the night before.
Yeah, I would tell the students like in the lesson, I would be like, by the way, like I learned this yesterday to teach you today. So like we are learning together.
That's great.
Which it ended up being a really cool experience. But yeah, I mean, I didn't know how to read like lead sheets and play them on the guitar until like probably a year ago. Yeah. So, and if I don't practice it, oh man, I tried to sit down and do it. I stopped practicing it once my students kind of got into it. And so we would pull out a piece of music and a lesson and they could play it and I was like, nope. Yeah. I cannot play that.
It's weird the practice thing. Cause like in my head, like I haven't played saxophone since high school. And in my head, like, you have, like, this mental image of, like, how it was. Yeah. And I know if I picked it up now, it would be atrocious. But, like, even, like, one of the worst mistakes I made, this is going to sound weird. So I was working on, like, kind of a band project with some of, like, my roommates and my friends and stuff.
I remember.
And that was great. That wasn't the mistake. The mistake was focusing more on writing.
Clarification.
Focusing more on writing and like vocals and stuff. So I didn't like touch my guitar for like a solid year. Oh, jeez. And then it just like I got so mad at myself.
Downhill.
Yeah, because like try to do what you used to do, and I mean it's just dexterity and keeping it up. But
when I got the job at the church, I felt like I didn't know how to play guitar anymore because I had to play all of these chords that like I would always just not play, you know, like,
and
I don't have
chords.
I like, don't have a choice anymore.
Yeah.
So that job has definitely made me become a better guitar player, without me even noticing it. Like I was talking to someone the other day who knows how I was before about my chords and what I would and wouldn't play. Like I would not play bar chords. Like, I would refuse to play bar chords. Yeah. And we were playing a song, and he was like, "Yeah, play this and this chord. Oh wait, well let's figure out what you would need to play." And I was like, I can play it now. I was like, I've gotten better. Yeah. Leave me alone.
That's cool. So with the band, so you guys have toured together, but like I've known that they're kind of like not the typical when people hear like touring. Do you want to like you stayed at a lot of people's like houses and like
it was pretty much couch surfing.
Okay.
For like. Our first tour was longer than our second one. I think our first tour was like, I don't know. It was like maybe 7.5 weeks or 6.5 weeks. And our second one was only like 5. But yeah, so we did pretty much, we booked everything ourselves. Like when you tell people that you went on tour, obviously like so many things come to mind. Yeah. And people will be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, how'd you get to do that? And like we called a lot of people and asked if we could play at their church. Or like play at a local restaurant. Yeah. So, it was such a cool thing. I mean, I would not knock it. Like, I would do it again tomorrow. It was quite an interesting experience riding in a 5-passenger truck with 5 people.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
Yeah, so we took my dad's truck, my dad's like 2002 Ford F-150, 5 people, and a trailer, and we just went for it. We did That's awesome. Southeast, so Alabama, Virginia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, that kind of area. We played at all kinds of different things. One of the coolest things we got to do was in Knoxville, Tennessee. They have a radio station that's called WDVX, I think, and they do a thing called the Blue Plate Special. Everybody knows what the Blue Plate Special is. Like, it's a thing. I mean, I'm trying to think of some people who have played that. Like, Nickel Creek has played the Blue Plate Special. Like, tons of, like, very famous folk bands. Okay. So you get to go, and we didn't technically play the Blue Plate Special, but you play on, like, the same stage, and there's the literal blue plates with, like, the pictures of the bands that have played there. It was really cool. So we got to play live.
That's cool.
On that show, on the radio, with a couple other people. So that was a cool thing that we did. But we also just got to do a lot of churches, which is honestly, like, we made so much money because people were just so willing to give and buy our stuff and
pay for gas
and feed us and give us a place to sleep. Yeah. Like, I think on one of the tours we didn't pay to stay anywhere ever.
That's crazy.
The second tour, I think we paid to stay in a hotel for one night. But yeah, so it's self-funded. Me and 3 dudes and another girl, and just, doing our thing.
That's nuts.
So, yeah, it was, looking back now, I mean, it's great memories, but it was also just, like, such a weird thing. Like, it is nuts. Like, so many things could have gone wrong, and, like, nothing did. Yeah. Like, it was just, we were so fortunate to have such a good experience doing it.
That's funny. So I don't know why this popped in my head while you were talking, but, like, So it's you in a band, and then so you're the only girl in the band, and there's other guys. So at least, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 of them used to play in metal bands. Was that right?
Okay, yeah. So
okay, well, I'm just gonna say this, like, so I know at least that. So Wes, who's also your boyfriend, it's always the best thing to watch because he will, like, when we're playing live, or when you're playing live, and, like, he has like some kind of, like, solo or something, like on the mandolin, he still stands like he's
he has the shred stance.
He has, like, the metal guitar stance, but he's like, and he's a big dude, and he has, like, a tiny mandolin, but he still has, like, the spread legs.
And he's so animated. Some of his faces.
That's the best.
Oh, I remember when we first started playing, we had only been dating for. When we first started, like, playing, we had only been dating for, like, 2 years. And I remember just being like, I don't know this person. Like, who he is on stage, and just, like, his stage presence and his, like, facial animations are just so ridiculous. It's hilarious. People love it, though. Yeah. Like, and he's not trying to be funny. He's just a goofy dude. He's a goofy guy on stage.
I just love it.
I know,
it's just, like, a tiny... It almost looks like he's just, like, holding it like a toy ukulele.
I know. The mandolin is so small, especially when you put it in a big dude's hands. Yeah. Like, sometimes he played football, and he broke the top of his hand, like, on one of his fingers, and so he has screws in his bone. And because of the injury, his hand, like, if you make a fist, his fingers are, like, crunched all up on each other. Yeah. So, like, he already has issues when he's, like, playing lead licks on guitar, and then you give him a mandolin, and the frets are, like, half the size, and he's trying to, like, crunch his fingers all up in them. Great. It's really funny. He gets really frustrated sometimes.
Laughing at your boyfriend's misfortune.
I think that's what my job is.
That's cool.
Funny, dude.
Yeah, because, so, nah, that's going to be a weird question. I'm not going to say that. I was going to say, so when are you guys going to start? But that's dumb. You just had a meeting.
Hopefully really soon.
Excuse
That's
me
the
while
goal.
I refill my water.
You're right. I want to play a buddy brew.
Yeah.
We have friends who play there. Shane and Emily play there, and I had never really thought about it until I knew that they played there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a coffee shop, like literally we can walk there from my house right now. But I think I haven't been there since they like first opened, so they expanded and they're really big now.
And they have like a truck now, and then they're opening a new one, I think, in Hyde Park, like Hyde Park Village.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been wanting to I've been writing a little bit more, but I'm wanting to, since we live in this area now, start doing some open mic stuff.
Yeah.
But
we've been trying to get my friend Nick. I'm going to throw him out there because he'll be upset at me. But he had the job that I have now at the church. So he led the 11 Magnolia service, and then he moved to tech and AV stuff.
Okay.
And then they hired me. So he still works there, and we're really good friends. And he's a really good musician, but he's just like, he's not like extremely super, super comfortable with just like singing and playing.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
You know, yeah. So we've been trying to get him to do some like open mics or like get some gigs. Two times we had planned on going to a specific place to hear him do open mic.
And he bailed.
And it was canceled. No, it was canceled.
Oh, did he do it, or did the place?
People canceled. Like the restaurant canceled.
That's awful.
And he was like, I think this is my universal sign that I'm not supposed to
That's
do
awful.
this. Oh,
My whole
so
thing,
sad.
like, because we live close to like quite a few bars and restaurants. Excuse me, but my thing with every time I'm like, oh yeah, I can do or start learning some open mic songs, I'm just so out. Like, this is gonna sound so douchey, but like I just don't listen to like I barely listen to radio in general.
Oh, I
but
know.
Like, so like one.
I Googled top charts. So like every time I'm planning a new gig, I'm like, okay, I need to add like 5 more cover songs, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Don't
like,
know any. So
like
I Google them.
I totally get like in the setting. If you're at a bar, you want to hear somebody playing stuff that you kind of recognize because it's fun or whatever. But being on the flip side of that, like, one, figuring out what they are, and then 2, like, I don't know, I'm too much of like I like my music and like what I listen to, and I want everybody else to like it. So I feel
you
like,
just force it on them.
I'd feel like, here, listen to all this stuff.
I've done some good old
you don't know.
MXPX
Yeah.
at some shows, but no one knows what it is, but I like it. So
Yeah, I
that's
think
what I've been trying to tell my friend
You
Nick.
have to be sneaky.
Yeah, he's like, well, I want to play the stuff I want to play, but it's like super depressing.
I'm in the
It's
same
like
boat.
Dashboard,
I hear you.
and I'm like, just do it.
I think Dashboard, enough people know that they would like it.
I'm like, if you played a set of just Dashboard and John Mayer, I would be your biggest fan.
Yeah.
It's like, I would not hate it. I would
That's
like
funny.
it. But no, my most like recently added favorite cover that I'm doing is No Diggity. And the last time I played it, so my trick for playing shows that are like just by myself is I play the song for like 7 minutes. So I just do
I think you've
tons of
told me this.
instrumentals, and I will like play the whole song and play like half of the song instrumental, and I'll just play the whole song again. And that's the only way you can get through those like 4-hour gigs by yourself.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing too. Like, I feel like if I sign up for like an open mic thing, well, that's the thing. But like
with open mics, you get to play like a few songs, and then you can be like, and I'm done.
Yeah, right.
But when you play a gig that's
When you're
4
that person
hours
for
by
that
yourself,
night,
oh, it's really hard. But so the first night that I did No Diggity, I played it, and I played it forever. And then towards the end of the set, I only had like a few songs left. I was like, we're going to bring back one from the beginning of the show. And I just did it again because I was like, I'm going to play this song. I'm going to overplay it. I'm all right
They've
with
been
it.
drinking by that point.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's the greatest thing is the people that do stick around, they've drank enough that you can totally just do your whole first set
I feel
over
like
again.
this area close to... I don't live in South Tampa, but close to South Tampa.
2 blocks.
Like, yeah, I feel like a lot of those bars just have a lot of in and out people, so you could probably get away with.
Yeah,
like,
you
repeating.
can. You definitely can.
Yeah, it's funny, but yeah. So this is totally a flip, but you just came back from New Orleans, right?
I did.
Right. I picked you. Oh yeah, I picked you.
That's actually why this is happening.
No.
Daniel picked me up from the airport. coming home from
Last
New
week
Orleans.
I did.
Last week. And I was like, hey, Daniel, how do I get on your podcast?
Right. Yeah. That is how this happened.
So here we are.
Yeah, so I've always wanted to go there, and I have not. And I was
It's
super
worth
jealous.
it.
Yeah. We went out, like, going back to being in band in high school, my band played
At band camp.
at the bowl game. Like, what college game is there?
The Sugar Bowl?
Sugar Bowl, yeah.
Yeah.
Our
I've
band
been
played
to the
there.
Sugar Bowl in New Orleans.
But I did not, I did not go on that trip.
Boo.
And it was, like, the year before the hurricane hit. And I was, like...
Wow.
Yeah, so...
That was, when I was in New Orleans, it was the anniversary.
This past, like, week or whatever?
Yeah. It was, what was it, like 10 years?
No, that's crazy. 10 years?
Something like that.
Yeah, 2005. That would make sense.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it was like, my friend was driving me around and she was like,
No, that's crazy.
it's been 10 years since
Yeah,
Katrina
because
came.
I was like, yeah, that makes sense. 'Cause I
It's
was in
still,
high
though,
school.
it's so crazy. Like, it's unbelievable how much you can still tell that city had
Yeah.
major destruction.
Yeah.
Like, the roads, it actually, I was telling her, because my friend who lives in New Orleans lived in Tampa for most of high school, or all of high school. And so she knows Tampa very well. Well, New Orleans roads are horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
just like pothole after pothole after pothole from all of the erosion from the rain.
Yeah.
So we've had like bukus of rain
Yeah.
here, and it's starting to happen to our roads.
Yeah. We had like a sinkhole down the
That's
street.
so scary.
Yeah.
I wanted to get out and take a picture, and I was like, the ground's gonna eat me.
Yeah,
I was
it's
gonna
weird.
keep driving. But
Yeah.
I told her, I was like, it's getting bad. Like, it's never gonna get like New Orleans did from
Yeah.
just rain like this,
Yeah.
like summer rain. But we have had so much road erosion here. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's been, like, the city's been underwater for, I mean, not right now, but off and on for, like, the past couple weeks.
Yeah,
but
it's been crazy.
I'm surprised I'm surprised that we haven't gotten hit with a big storm like that.
Like Katrina.
Well, something, yeah, just in general, like,
Yeah.
we've been...
We've been
They
really
always,
fortunate.
yeah, they
like,
always skirt us, but
Yeah,
like
when I
we're
was-
so. I feel like we're in the same boat. Like we're so close to the water, and
yeah.
such have bad like infrastructure that
Oh yeah.
we would be screwed.
We would totally, if a storm like Katrina came here, it would be like Katrina. We would be wrecked.
So,
But positive New Orleans.
move to Tampa, people.
Yeah, come here. It's great. It's sunny and the roads are well paved.
Literally, as we're saying that, it is storming. Like you might hear the rain and the thunder on the
It's
podcast.
not raining, it's sprinkling.
Noel and I were doing that all last
It's not raining, it's sprinkling.
night. Inside jokes on a podcast.
That's what podcasts are for, right?
Right.
To make everyone feel super comfortable. But New Orleans is great. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful place. That was, I think, my 4th time going. So one time I went, I don't exactly remember like the order, like what trip came first. But one time I took Wes to go see the Sugar Bowl because the Gators were playing.
Okay.
And that's his team. So they lost, unfortunately. Boo. But we went to that, and that was really cool. And it was January. It was like the first week of January. So it was really cold.
Interesting.
It was really, okay, I retract. It probably wasn't really cold, but it was really cold for us Florida people.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
was,
because you're still like on the bay.
yeah.
So-
And I mean,
I mean
like,
the bay, the Gulf.
I wore like my like London fog jacket that I took to Europe with me, and like
Yeah.
scarves and combat boots. I mean, it was pretty cold. But so I went that time, and that was pretty cool. We got to do kind of just like the lazy New Orleans things. Like we didn't really go do anything like super touristy. We just did a lot of walking around and
Yeah.
kind of just like seeing the city. And then the other times was kind of in passing. Like I flew to New Orleans to meet up with my friend to go to Mexico. So we were only there for a little while. But that's the first time that I got to like walk down Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
And we went to this little like bar salsa dancing place. And there was like a live band. It was like seriously the size of this room.
Yeah.
And there's like live band with all of these brass instruments. It was so loud. But it was one of the coolest things. And then just this last time I went, I took a vacation, so I went. But this trip was the most different out of all of them. I got to spend a lot of time in Lafitte, and it's kind of like, in a good way, it's kind of like the Plant City of New Orleans. But, like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's very, very rural.
Yeah.
Like, super, super rural. There's only, like, 1,000 people that live in Lafitte.
That's crazy.
And they all know each other, and it's all generational. It's just, like, 5 generations of the same people.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so...
That's weird.
But it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So, I got to do... we went on the airboat tour, which I've done before. But we got to do it, like, in the morning. It was really hot, but it's just so cool. I have videos of the dude feeding the gators. And, like, everybody that I show them to, they're like, oh, my gosh, that's so stupid. I'm like, no, it's so cool. You don't even think about it being dumb and dangerous when you're doing it because it just looks so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, like, I feel like typically, and this might be, because I grew up in Land O'Lakes, north of here. I mean, somehow we get on here every podcast.
LOL.
But, so it's kind of not that rural, but it's more like rural than like the city.
Yeah,
so
Tampa, for
I think
sure.
because of that, like, I'm always just more attracted to going on vacations in like a city. So like,
I could get that.
I just want to live in a big city. Like, Tampa is okay.
Did you see that we got, like, voted best city of, like, the Southeast or something?
Did we? Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I did see that.
It was floating around on the internet, on the
I wonder
World Wide
what
Web.
what
I don't
they consider
remember.
the Southeast.
I don't remember because I tried to click on it, but my internet wasn't working.
Yeah.
But I found that pretty.
It depends
curious.
what they're, because my first thought would be
what
like,
was the scoring process?
my first
here?
thought would be like Nashville, if that reaches. No, I don't know if that would.
Yeah.
That may be too far north. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I like Tampa, but I always dog it. I feel like there's better cities.
Yeah, but then at the same time, like, I've had so many friends who've grown up in Tampa and they finish high school and they were like, I've got to get out of here. Mm-hmm. And they leave and then they're like, nothing's better than Tampa.
I totally want to like come back, but I've always wanted to live in like a big city.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to live in like Chicago or like San Francisco is awesome, but also ridiculously expensive.
I could never live there. I just don't think I could ever be okay with like losing that much money to live there.
Also, I feel like it would be cool, but also just the fact that it's nothing but essentially built on mountains. Like,
yeah,
I went on vacation there one time, and just like driving was terrifying because, like, especially, I don't think they should not be allowed to sell automatic or manual transmission cars.
Oh, I bet.
But like, I remember we were driving one time and like going up a hill and then stopping at a stop sign was the most terrifying thing, because then like you roll, like, it's steep, and then like you roll back when you like get ready to accelerate, but then also you can't see really because you're just looking up a hill, so you can't see to your left or your right.
Not okay. Not
So
okay.
It's a lot of just praying and
okay.
hoping you don't roll backwards
Yeah,
into the ocean.
I would not. I already, just like being in the normal mountains, like the Carolinas and Tennessee and stuff, I won't drive. I will not drive.
Okay.
I can't do it. I need to live in flat Florida.
Noelle and I, when we went to North Carolina last year, like when I engaged to her, I engaged to her.
Well, yeah, you did.
We got proposed, and then, but we took my car, which is just a 2-door Kia, and it's a front wheel drive, and it's a great car, but it is not a mountain car.
No.
Like, and also, I've learned to never trust your GPS anywhere near the mountains.
Not in the mountains.
Because, like,
you gotta use a real map.
Because we did one of, it wasn't Airbnb, but it was like one of those websites where people just like have like their own property that they rent out. So we stayed at somebody's cabin. So the directions they gave us, like, we looked them up, or they gave us, like, we printed them out, and then we just kind of like referenced them with like the Google Maps. And like for the most part, like coming from Tampa to there was pretty much the same, but we didn't really look at the end, like while we're like in the neighborhood in the mountain.
Sure.
So like we're just following. We're like, oh, we'll just follow the Google Maps or whatever. And it was terrifying. Like, come to find out, there's like an actual paved street
that you
through
could
the
have
neighborhood.
taken?
It took us literally up the steepest, muddiest, like
dirt hill to the point where like the car stalled, and also we have like all of our luggage in the back, so we're like already weighed down to the point where like we just stopped, and then my tires were just like spinning, and like the back was like fishtailing a little bit, and there was like no room to fishtail.
I've never heard this story.
Like it wasn't like a steep drop off, but it was definitely like
it's not like a little ditch.
Like I definitely just like went silent, and Noelle was like,
oh my gosh.
And then also on the trip we were trying to find something. I don't know. We're trying to find somewhere, so we went up like to this mountain ridge. And like didn't stop at like the park ranger station, and also just followed the maps to the point where we couldn't find where we're going, guys. And also to the point where the maps just on the phone just showed the dot, and then all of the stuff around it went away, and it was just like gray squares, just checkered, like
just the grid.
Yeah. And like we had no idea where we were going.
Oh,
like
that's so bad.
And like we couldn't turn around. It was the same kind of thing, just gravel roads. Like it was.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So
when we went, I think we were in Tennessee on tour, and we were driving. So we had the truck and a trailer, and 2 of the 5 of us have really bad motion sickness. Okay. Me being one of them. So I would always be like, I have to sit up front, or else I am going to throw up.
Yeah.
Like, it's inevitable. It is going to happen. Let's just avoid it and let me sit in the front seat. We were going down this mountain with the trailer. Yeah, so the trailer just makes everything like 10 times worse than the truck. Like, every little motion is like 50 times more. It just, you feel everything differently. It pulls differently. The truck turns differently. So we were looking at the GPS of what we were going down, and it was literally just like a zigzag. And I was like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. Like, I can't do this. The end of that tour, we had this, it wasn't even a joke, but it was just something that we would say all the time, because every time we were driving through the mountains, if I was in the back seat, I would just be like, I'm literally going to throw up. So for years after that tour, all the time, someone in the band would just randomly be like, I'm going to throw up.
I'm sure you weren't dramatic about it at all.
Oh, no.
not you.
I'm not dramatic. But I really thought I was going to die. So
yeah, we had a couple of those.
I also got chiggers at that same place. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, here's a little lesson in bugs. So
fascinating.
Let me teach you about bugs. The little bit that I know. When we were in that same place in Tennessee, we played out in this field, in this grass, just normal grass. But apparently there's these bugs that live in grass called chiggers, and they're also known as red bugs, I think. I could be totally wrong, but I think they're the same bug.
CHIGGERS?
Chiggers.
That's so weird.
I think that's how you spell it. That's how you say it. Doesn't mean that's how you spell it. But they're called chiggers, and I got into them, I guess. Plus, I'm like kind of allergic to grass, so I think it was probably a combination of like rolling around down these hills for hours. My legs, the front of my legs, where it's just like all of these tiny little red like welts.
Yeah.
And they get really hot. And I remember like we left the next day, and I sat in the back of the truck in the middle seat with my legs like out on the like dash with the air conditioning just blowing on my legs because they were burning up. They were just so itchy. It was gross. So
and bugs.
So chiggers.
I want that can't be right.
Chiggers?
Chiggers.
Are you looking it up?
Yes.
It's right.
Nope. I'm going to the Google.
The Google. I am the Google.
The Google. Chiggers. That just sounds so bad.
I think it also is red bugs. See what it says. What is the like?
No, that's right.
It's real! Told you. Red bugs.
It's a mite.
Ugh, gross. That's so much grosser than a bug.
Yeah.
Ew. Are there pictures?
Yeah.
Are they red?
It's not good for podcasting, though.
Oh! They look like that. Oh my gosh. They're like tortilla chip red.
What kind of tortilla
like
chips?
The red ones. Taco Bell, the little red.
Oh, those
Those
the
red
authentic,
corn chips.
the authentic,
The authentic red corn chips. They're like that color red.
Your quesarito crunch.
So one time Daniel and I went to Taco Bell, and he ordered his order by like the letter and the number. He was like, "I'd like to have a T-17, please." It's like I'm playing Battleship or something.
It was it's the what is it?
It's a quesadilla.
Taco Hut. So it's Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
It's KFC, Taco Bell,
and a Pizza
Hut because someone decided that needed to exist.
Let's put all of the crap food in one place. I think it's great. And also, that's the same Taco Bell that I went there for my lunch break one day, and I sat in the drive-thru for half an hour.
Yeah.
It's the worst one.
I try not to eat fast food very often. And every time I do, I'm just like, oh, this is what I get.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like the McDonald's down the street just randomly decides to stop taking cards.
Cool.
And then like I still haven't figured out, like I'm not there super often, but I still haven't figured out like the time frame. But like you could go just random times and then be like, oh, cash only.
What?
I don't know.
I didn't know. I didn't know like chain restaurants did that.
Yeah, my whole thing with like. I mean, this isn't me being on a high horse because I eat fast food, but like every time I'm considering it, it's not that much cheaper than just like getting like if you get like a meal, it still comes out to like $8 or $9.
Except Taco Bell, or at least what I get at Taco Bell, because I can get a soft taco and a stuffed grilled nacho for $2.87.
You gotta get Taco Bell as a sponsor.
I
keep making that joke.
Let's stop talking crap about their poor drive-through service, though.
I know what you're talking about. I love their red tortilla chips.
Nom nom.
That look like chiggers.
They do look like chiggers. Same color.
Oh, man.
No.
This is one of those words that sounds so much worse than what it is.
Yep. I tried to say it very carefully, but I guarantee you when I listen to this, I'm going to be like, oh, man,
That's kind of why I had to spell it out.
Let's spell that word, Camille.
Oh god! And I was partially looking it up to make sure it wasn't like a slang name that like we were just throwing around.
Oh no! That's like when I was a kid. We used to not a kid. When I was in like middle school, we used to talk about like getting all like hyped up on Skittles. Like from a sugar rush.
Yeah.
And someone's mom one time was like, "You probably shouldn't say that," because at the time Skittles was a term for a drug, like a slang term for a very specific drug.
Interesting.
And we were like, oh good, we've just been running around talking about being all cracked up on Skittles.
Yeah, I remember, I don't remember specifics, but yeah, just being in like an elementary school and just saying stuff that you don't know.
That you don't know what it means.
Oh yeah. I was such an idiot when I was a kid. I don't know why this just sparked my memory, but like, so when I was in elementary school, the rule system, I don't know if you might know what I'm talking about. We used to have like, holy cow, it is raining sideways.
Yeah, it's a monsoon outside.
So sorry if you hear that, but anyway, so like the rules for the elementary school classes were each student had like. So there's like a bulletin board. Each student had like a little pocket with their name on it, and there's a card in it. Okay. And when you got in trouble, it was called...
like red, yellow, or green? That kind of thing?
No. It wasn't soccer. Come on. No. But like we had like a new card every week. Okay. And then if you got in trouble, they do what you like. They would pull your card. That was what they called it. And they would like stamp it. And then like if you got like a certain number of stamps in like a week or something, like you couldn't do like recess, something ridiculous.
No kickball for you.
So anyway, and when they did that was the whole thing. They would tell your parents and tell you whatever it was. And I thought I was the smartest kid. I should probably ask my mom what, like, as an adult, what her reaction to me telling her this. Because I said something. I said like a curse word. I was like in 5th grade. I said like I might have said like shit or something, and like my teacher heard me, and my lie to get out of it was, no, my mouth was moving and somebody behind me said it.
Oh, you are so clever.
So stupid. like
I didn't say that.
I was like, oh, you must have heard somebody else. I was just, doing what I normally do and just moving my mouth without making noises.
Oh, good.
Oh, God. Yeah. I randomly get, like, flashbacks of, like, either just, not even in elementary school, just random spots in my life where I just, like, shake my head, like...
Oh, yeah. One time I got under... So my mom taught at the school that I went to.
Yeah.
I went under one of the other, like, teacher desks that was in her room, and I cut my own bangs. Like, real bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, 90-degree, like, angle, like, hardcore. So, I came out from under the desk, and I guess my mom didn't see me right away. I might have gone and done something. I was really young. I was in, like, kindergarten. And my mom finally saw me, and she very well knew what had happened.
Yeah.
But she asked me, and I had formed this very complete lie in my mind that a little boy in class earlier in the day had cut my bangs. And,
Gotcha.
like, which totally makes sense when you know that you're going to get in trouble if you said you cut your bangs. But, like, what little child walks up to another little child and just takes out a pair of scissors, and the kid is like, okay, yeah, cut the hair right above my eyeballs that you could just gouge out.
I think every kid did the haircut thing.
Oh, yeah.
I know I did.
But I lied about it. That's the thing. Like, I've known other kids who have done it, and they're like, yeah, I cut my hair. And I was like, no, I didn't do that. Some little boy did it.
Little boy.
True story. This is not a lie. I was getting a drink from the water fountain one time. I think I was in K3. And 2 little boys came up behind me and kissed me on my butt.
So, wait, specify what age K3 is?
Like 3 years old.
Okay, so it's like preschool?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So how do you even know at that age to go up to a girl and kiss their butt? Right? My teacher told my mom about it, and my teacher said that I flipped out. I turned around, I started yelling at them. I was like going after them, like they had to like take me away, and they just were dying laughing because like
That's
who
awesome.
does that?
That's so great.
But I was not okay with it.
I remember when I think it might have been going from preschool to kindergarten, and like it was the first time. So up until that point, I didn't understand how names worked.
Oh,
apparently.
Sure.
So kindergarten was like a whole new world for me because there was somebody else in my class named Daniel.
Oh jeez, you're not
and
the
it
only
just
one.
broke my brain.
I don't know what that life is like.
Because I thought everybody just had a different name.
Sure.
And I thought I was a special snowflake that apparently I was not.
You're so special.
Going in the real world of kindergarten with nap time. Yeah, I remember I think they were doing roll call and so she called whoever this Daniel was. I think she probably called my name because my name's kind of towards the beginning of the alphabet.
Yeah.
And then
DC
said it again, and I was just
very confused. What's happening?
Oh god.
There's I've met 2 other Camilles in my life. No, 3. One of them was at summer camp. One of them I'm named after.
Oh, okay.
And the other one is a little baby who is actually my friend who lives in New Orleans. It's her stepsister.
Gotcha.
She's a little baby named Camille. So when we were up in New Orleans, we were hanging out with them one day. And I was playing with Camille. And I had my back to my friend Lindsay. And she goes... Lindsay's trying to get what I think in my mind is my attention.
Yeah.
And she's like, Camille. And I'm like, what? And I turn around and she's just shocked. And she was like, I wasn't talking to you. And I was like, oh, I'm not used to this.
I really hope she's doing a baby voice. That would have been... and then you responded. Yeah. It's
very weird. I can imagine, I didn't meet another Camille until I was much older.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that experience of knowing that someone else had the same name as me.
I feel like that was a bigger shock than when your life changes when you go in the real world and you go to college. That was just that happened to me going from preschool to kindergarten. I don't know if I've ever told. I know I haven't told you. I told somebody this story years ago, but so going back to kindergarten, I remember this this is just memory lane. So this should give you like insight as to who Daniel has always been. So it was kindergarten one time.
Just one time.
Just one time. I passed. And then, so I remember I went to the bathroom, and so when I was zipping up my zipper, the little handle on the zipper broke.
Okay.
And I was like freaking devastated. Because I was like, no! Because like, I was like, everyone's gonna make fun of me. So like, I was like, alright. So I like figured out how to zip up my pants. It was like, I remember it was right before nap time. So like, washed my hands, went out, went and laid on my Power Rangers nap mat. And like, I was like, I just can't let anybody see. Like, I could have just thrown it away.
Sure.
I don't know. I probably was gonna like take it to my mom so she could like fix my pants or something. But like, so I was like, I can't have anybody see that my zipper broke because then people will make fun of me and then I'll die. So I remember I put it like under my like, I don't know if I had a pillow or something. But I put it like under like wherever my head was, like either under my hand or like under my pillow or whatever it was. And then at the end of nap time, whatever, I wake up and then my friend's like, you have a zipper stuck to your face. So I just woke up with it like stuck to my cheek.
Oh,
and
that's more devastating.
It was the best.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Kindergarten's a hard time, guys.
That is the equivalent at that age of having someone draw on your forehead while you're sleeping.
Right.
It is the same level of devastation.
Oh, man.
Oh, sad
Fantastic.
day.
So that was a look into Daniel's psyche.
Yeah. Other than cutting my own bangs, and also when I was a kid, I would sit in the car seat, and I would, the first time it happened, my mom just heard me saying, ow, 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 just like over and over and over and over again. She couldn't figure out what was going on, and when she finally did, she discovered that I was pulling my own hair and saying ow, and like couldn't process that I was doing it to myself. And so I just kept doing it.
Makes sense.
Right? I also licked a cat because I saw our cat giving itself a bath, and I asked my parents what the cat was doing.
Trial and error, man.
Right. And they were like, oh, the cat's giving himself a bath, and, they explained it to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like most normal children would then give themselves a bath, like a cat,
Lick the cat.
Oh, no. I was like, I'll help you out, kitty.
Oh, that's
and
great.
I was licking the poor cat.
Oh.
So gross.
Yeah. I'm glad I know that about you now.
Cat licker.
Oh,
No.
man. There it goes.
That's gonna be everywhere.
Family dinners are gonna be fun.
My social media world is about to change. I guarantee you I'll post this podcast and I will get so many comments about being a cat licker.
Cat licker.
I'm excited.
Oh, God. I'm gonna facilitate it.
No!
That's gonna be the hashtag.
Good.
Oh,
glad.
God. Cool. We've been talking. That's been like an hour exactly.
Boom.
Was there anything else you want to talk about?
I'm sure.
Keep it going.
I'm sure I can think of some more things.
I mean, no pressure.
Sure.
If you don't have to, that's all I'm saying.
Sure. I did want to say... Stop!
Camille just pulled out a notebook.
I do have more to say, though. Just because I want to throw it out there that I'm a supporter of these people, of these bands. Back to music for like 2 seconds.
All about it.
I found this band called Shallow Bed.
Okay.
I only have listened to one album, and it's the acoustic version of one of their albums.
Okay.
But it's so good, you should listen to it. You can find it on Spotify. And then a little while ago, I got to go see a band live. They came and they played at the what's the place in Ybor? The Cuban place.
The Olive Ybor.
No, the like where they have one of the concerts for Tropical.
The Cuban Club.
Yep, that's probably the place.
The Cuban place.
Anyway, they played at the Cuban Club. They're called Lake Street Dive.
I think you mentioned this to me.
Yeah, Noelle took me to that concert. They're so good. If you like like jazz pop.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of... I'm really bad at like pinning bands with genres.
Yeah, and
just
I don't...
so bad at it.
But it doesn't really matter, because it's also different.
Well, you should just listen to them, because they're good.
Cool.
One of the bands that opened for them was called The Congress. They're a little bit harder to find. But you should also listen to them.
The Congress.
The Congress.
I feel that's such a weird thing, with, like, being music in the 21st century. Like, my go-to for, like, band names is, like, if somebody Googles that, how hard is it gonna... Like, that's a conscious thing, like, you have to think of.
Oh, I
like,
loved
if you Google
your conversation with
Congress.
Reed about band names. Because, and I felt like I fell victim to what you guys were talking about. Because, so my band's name is Camille Dupree, which is me, and Broken Fetters. Mm-hmm. We had so many band names before we picked that one. And it's like the longest name we could have chosen.
It's tough. It's weird.
Yeah, it's just... And we were trying so hard to, like, find our identity around that time. Obviously, we were looking for a band name. But, like, we also had problems with, like, picking a genre to, like, call ourselves. And so we called ourselves...
so you just went with heavy metal mandolin?
Yeah, exactly. We called ourselves folk rock, which actually, like, we never heard negative stuff about it when that's what we were calling ourselves. Mm-hmm. But then, like, when our music kind of started changing... And we were like, yeah, we don't really know what to call ourselves anymore. People were like, yeah, we didn't really think folk rock was... I think it kind of turned people away. And I was like, geez, really? Like, it's so hard to find something that's not going to be, like, too weird. Like, Americana-infused mountain music from the Deep South. Like,
yeah, and I feel like it's just all pretty much unnecessary. Like, my go-to example is, like, my iPod is... probably like 90% either alternative or alternative rock.
Right.
And they're all so different. Like, you know what I mean? It's all just pointless.
There's like genres, and then there's like subgenres, and then there's subgenres to those subgenres. Mm-hmm. It's just a really
It's just
weird...
silly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing. Oh my gosh. Okay. Before we finish with this
We don't have to finish at a certain time. I was just...
Okay. I have a riddle.
Okay.
I'm so excited. Okay.
Oh, God.
So, there's... I'm so excited.
Just laughing to yourself.
I told this riddle to people at work, and it was so much fun. So, there's 30 cows in a field and 28 chickens. How many didn't?
How many didn't?
Uh-huh.
That's not a question.
Uh-huh.
30 cows in a field, 28 chickens.
How many didn't? If you think of the answer, you can't say it, because then everyone who listens to the podcast will know. Just whisper.
I feel like you want me to ask it didn't what?
I want you to figure it out. So don't ask that question.
Then why'd you ask me on a podcast? The worst. You gotta say it, because then you can't leave everybody hanging.
Oh, but then so many people will know.
Oh man, you have to find a new riddle.
It's such a good one.
You can go to your old lady library.
I'm gonna give you a hint. 30 cows in a field, 28 chickens. How many didn't? There are 2 verbs in what I'm saying, and you're probably only catching one of them. There are 30 cows in a field, 28 chickens. How many didn't?
Oh, gotcha. Okay. You do sly. 2.
No!
28?
There are 30 cows in a field.
Oh, 10.
Yay!
Okay. I was just bad at math. I got it. I was like...
Everybody guesses 2 first. And they, like, I know they're thinking 10.
So 20 did not consume chickens.
Yes. 30 cows in a field. 20 of them ate chickens.
Hilarious.
How many didn't? It's not supposed to be funny. It's not a joke. It's a riddle.
Nailed it.
I like it.
Oh, God.
You're
What
welcome.
is happening?
I have some more, but they're not good. And I don't want to have my name stamped on them in a podcast, so
Too late.
I'm just gonna not.
Too late. It's just gonna be your next album. It's just riddles.
That'd be so awesome. Can I do that?
I mean, I'm sure you can do whatever you want.
Okay, I'm gonna make my own podcast. That is just
Riddles.
bad riddles.
Is it just gonna be one riddle every episode? So it's like a 2-minute
Yeah,
podcast.
yes. Well,
Tune in next week for the answer.
well, I could maybe like, what's that guy who walks around on the streets and like asks people questions? Never mind. That was not
Like
helpful.
everybody? Like every guy?
It was not helpful at all. But I could
Anybody
do
who's lost?
I could I could do a thing where like I ask the riddle to you.
Are you talking about Jay Leno?
No, I know who Jay Leno is.
Okay.
I mean, maybe he does this.
Are you
All
talking-
I know about Jay Leno is he has a night show, or he had a night show, and he has a lot of old cars that are really cool. That's all I know about Jay
about
Leno. Okay. And I like his voice.
He did jaywalking, which was his
He would like ask people questions.
I
the
think
street.
Jimmy Kimmel does it too.
Okay, so yeah, like
Everybody
that.
does it.
Like,
Yeah.
I could ask, like, in one podcast, I could ask a lot of people the same riddle and, like, go back to, like, get different answers and then, like, reveal the final answer.
Hilarious.
I think it's funny. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a bone to pick with you.
Uh-oh.
And I don't want to talk about it because you're going to show me up. I guarantee it. But I was so sad when you talked about how you were not looking forward to Fantastic Four.
Oh, God.
Because I really...
This is going to be the third podcast that I talk about a movie I have not seen.
Okay, well then we don't have to talk about it. But I just want to throw it out there to the podcast world that I want to see Fantastic Four.
You can see
Because,
it.
because I love Miles Teller.
Yeah,
a whole lot.
I'm not holding you down. You do what you want.
I know. You do you. But
This is really quickly turning into the Fantastic Four podcast, hosted by a guy who has not seen it. Because Jason and I talked about it in the most recent episode, too, for like a long time.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, God.
Oh, I just it
What a
looks
bone to
good.
pick.
It was a bone.
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
I'm going to.
I'm not... Yeah. That's your money.
That's the thing. I hate paying for movies. My mom was talking about how she wanted to see Mad Max, and
Yeah.
I saw it, and it was cool. I almost touched the table.
Touched the table.
And I got like a centimeter away from touching the table,
There's a
and there's a
note-
sticky note in front of my face that says "Don't touch table," and I was so close.
Yeah.
And I was actually reaching to touch the sticky note that said "Don't touch the table."
Yeah, and picks up, like, the new mic is good, but it picks up a lot of banging on the table. So,
Not allowed to touch it.
don't touch it.
So,
Anyways, Mad Max.
Back to Mad Max. I saw it in theaters, and here's what I have to say about it. Overall, I liked the movie. It was pretty cool. The cinematography was amazing. And, like, knowing that they did their own, like, nothing was CGI.
Not entirely true.
Not entirely true, but slightly true. Still slightly true is cool. But anyway, it was cool to, like, look at.
Yeah.
It was, like, kind of
They
pretty.
they mixed it. I watched stuff where they pretty much just mixed it really well. So they did a lot of practical stuff, but like a lot of the stuff that you would expect
To have to be CGI?
to CGI wasn't, and a lot of the stuff that you'd expect not to be CGI was.
Huh.
So like a lot, like the main thing I saw was like, I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but I watched like the special effects reel. So like when the caravan of cars is like driving through like the valley,
Yeah.
a lot of the valley itself is CGI.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a lot of like
It makes sense to me.
surrounding stuff was
Yeah,
was
I
added.
kind of get like sceneries being
Yeah,
CGI'd
yeah.
for that movie because it was just perfect.
Yeah.
You know, like the perfect amount of space for the car to fit through. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
But so it was really cool. But like my complaints were it was so loud. Like the loud parts of the movie. I know.
No, I'm gonna let it go.
I know. Well, I have tinnitus.
Yeah.
So my ears are so sensitive
Yeah.
already. So like anything like that that's just really loud,
Yeah.
kind of just going to see movies in general hurts my ears.
I just love that you sound like such an old lady.
I
Like
know.
these movies are too loud.
They're too loud.
But I got a riddle.
Oh,
I got a nice quiet riddle for
I'm
you.
so old. I got a nice quiet riddle. But so it was just really loud. And it was like some of the parts were they came across as so like graphic's the wrong word, but just on the same kind of level as like what graphic makes you feel. It's
Okay.
just like a very intense visually.
Yeah.
That like there were seriously scenes where like there's a lot of and I think that this is true to like the TV show. Was it a TV show?
No, they were old movies.
Old movies, okay. True to like the old movies, there's like a lot of cut scenes.
Uh-huh.
So like a scene will end and the screen will go black.
Yeah.
And then it'll start a new scene.
Yeah.
So like every time the screen would go black, I would feel myself like relax and like take a deep breath out. Like, because it's just, there's so much going on. It's like, it's not a thriller, but it's just so
it's just intense. Yeah.
And there's like zero dialogue.
Huh.
I guarantee you there's maybe like
Interesting.
5 pages of dialogue.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I missed it when I was in the theaters.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm really bad at seeing stuff in the theaters.
It's so expensive.
Also, yeah, it's just
I went to the
expensive.
movies one time with $11, okay? That's all I had. And I get up there and I order my movie ticket and it'll be $11.50. And I literally had to ask the dude in line next to me for 50 cents.
That's crazy.
Because I didn't have 50 cents. They're just so expensive.
Yeah, there's
Ugh.
I heard somebody before say this, and then I heard recently Kevin Smith say it. So it might have been him before, but I've heard it at least twice. Where, especially with everything being like on demand, like there's a lot of even new movies coming out that like go straight to Netflix and stuff.
Sure.
So it's just so not even like downloading. Like it's easy to download stuff, but even just like streaming or on iTunes or whatever it is, that going to movie theaters in the future might get to the point where it's like going to the theater. So you're going to pay more for like the experience of it.
Interesting.
But there's going to be like a shift where it'll be more expensive, but it'll be essentially like going to like the theater or going to the opera, or you can just stay at home and watch it at home.
That's the thing is like, I don't go to the movie theaters for the experience. I just want to see the dang movie.
Yeah, like, and it's weird. It's hit or miss. Like, what did we go see? We went to go see Ant-Man.
Uh-huh.
And the dude next to Noel I think he was drunk, first of all.
Cool.
He was with his 2 kids who
awesome.
So he wasn't, not that you need a discipline in the movie, but his kids were being loud, and he sounded kind of drunk, and he was being loud back to the kids. So it wasn't like any kind of like shushing each other, and it was just, I would have rather watched it at home because it was just obnoxious. Because he was narrating the whole thing we were watching at the same time. And also, like, I was more offended that he was just being, like, he wasn't, I don't want to judge him too harshly, but I feel like I, as a father, would not narrate or explain to the kid exactly what's happening as they're watching it, because then I feel like you're just dumbing down your kid.
Yeah.
Like, if they have a question after the movie, then answer it.
Sure.
But, like,
well, I would not go to the movies for such a long time because I had so many experiences in a row of people talking in the freaking movie theater.
Yeah.
Wes and I went to a movie one time, and it was like a few rows in front of us. There were people, like, straight up talking.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
And Wes got up and was like, if you really need to have a conversation, you can go have it outside. Like, we are trying to watch this movie.
We paid money. Yeah.
Oh, it was so annoying. And then there was another time we went to the movies. We went to go see that Vampire Academy movie, which was still, punches himself in the face for seeing, which I thought it was hilarious. Oh, okay. But there were these people that came in, like, 3/4 of the way through the movie and were just, like, definitely just, like, not sober on, like, a lot of different levels. And they came and sat right behind us and were, like, giggling and laughing and, like, hitting our chairs. And Wes just turned around and he was like, I think you can leave. I was like, I'm going to keep taking you to movies because you say what I don't say. And I get just so nervous to talk to people in movie theaters.
Yeah, that's the thing. But also, just, like, why are you wasting your money? Like,
well, I feel like the people that do that movie hop. Because there's no way. Like, there's no way I would pay for a movie, go into that movie, and sit down and talk the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, you know that they've paid for a movie that they've seen already, and now they're just cheating the system.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Meh.
We'll see. Meh.
Meh.
Just sit home and tell some riddles.
Curl up on my couch and watch some Netflix.
Sweet. Cool. Anything else?
Did I get an A+?
A+.
Yay.
A+ podcast. I don't know. That's my opinion. Other people might think differently.
I think I win. I'm the first girl.
First girl.
Woo!
Yay.
And I'm the youngest. Woo! I can think of a lot of other things to woo about, but I won't.
First person with a band named after themselves. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I was glad to have you, but also because I was trying to figure out like because also we've had a lot of guys, and but I just in general just know more guys, so like
Totally.
It's cool to have you, but also it's just like this is gonna be like yet another episode where like Noelle's like the unicorn of the podcast.
I was talking to her before I came here, and she was like, "I'm talked about in every podcast, and I'm never in them."
To the point where whatever. I might do like a wife podcast.
You should.
In the future, a little bit.
You should.
So.
She's pretty cool.
She's alright.
She's alright.
Okay, cool. Do you want to plug anything with the band? Like your website or anything?
Yeah, sure. We're revamping our website actually right now, but it'll be the same domain, which is just Camille Dupree. What is it? Hold on. It's either Camille Dupree, BrokenFetters.com or Camille Dupree and BrokenFetters.com. I'm not sure.
You should probably do a redirect. This is random.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
So it works either way, but.
And then we're on Twitter at Broken Fetters. On Instagram at Broken Fetters. Yeah, Facebook. We have a Facebook page with the band name.
It's your website is it's Camille Dupree Broken Fetters.
Okay, I thought there was an and.
And Fetters is Fetters.
Yeah.
For those interested.
If you get confused, you can just find me, and I will guide you.
I'll put a link in the actual page.
Cool.
So, cool. I think that's it.
Rad.
Do you want to do the cheesy tagline?
Yeah, what do I say?
What? You're supposed to know. No, I'm just kidding. It could be worse.
It could be worse.
Nailed it. Bye.
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 Bye, Felicia.